go to Marcelino Benito. He's standing at his popular board. He'll be here all night doing this. The Electoral College in the presidential race, Marcelino. I know there are certain states that have to swing one way or the other for these candidates to get to the magic number of 270.
Yeah, it's all about 270, Len, but the map is starting to fill out. The darker shades mean a state has been called. So let's look at the count as it stands right now. Trump at 95 electoral votes, Kamala Harris at 35. We just called the state of Florida moments ago, those 30 electoral votes going to Trump. You can see Texas has not been called yet, but we do have results coming in. I want to pop into some of the battlegrounds and show you what's going on in some of them. We're watching North Carolina closely. You can see it's shaded blue. Oh, let me turn this off right here.
Okay.
The magic of the board, Len. So we pop into North Carolina. You see it shaded blue. That's because Kamala Harris has built about a 9 percentage point lead right now, 54% to 45%.
But only 1% reporting.
It's a little more than that. Disregard that number for the moment. But yes, these are the accurate numbers, about 9 percentage point lead for Kamala Harris. Still too early to obviously make a projection. This is a battleground state. Let's pop out of that and come into the state of Georgia. You know this will be pivotal for Democrats and Republicans tonight. Donald Trump with a 57% to 43% lead. We're still missing a lot of votes out of Fulton County, the Atlanta region. That's where the bulk of the people are. So obviously
heavy Democratic as well.
Yes, way too close to call in this state as well. The blue wall starting to fill in with shades of blue. That means the Democrat Kamala Harris has a lead in there with 5% of the vote. She's built a pretty healthy lead, but
we
again,
should point out early.
Very, very, very early. A long night of counting ahead. Let's go to Michigan. Same sort of deal. Less than 1% of the vote in, 73% to 26%. Before coming to me, I checked on the AP site. The numbers coming in for Michigan are out of the suburbs just west of Detroit.
Yes.
She's building a pretty big lead. That's what she wants to see. But again, very long night of counting ahead. Before we head over to our panel, I want to pop into the state of Texas. It's purple because right now with the numbers we have, it's a pretty tight race. That's what happens on our map when it's very tight.
Yes.
With 16% of the vote, Donald Trump has 50% of the vote, Kamala Harris at 48%. And we can actually pop in county by county to see what's going on in this race as results come in. You can see the map starting to fill out here. Actually, what is this? We have some Fort Bend County numbers. So yes, with
very close.
Yes, very close. With 86.9% of the vote in Fort Bend County, Harris has a slim lead, but still more votes outstanding in Fort Bend County. This will be a county to watch. And let's pop up here into Dallas County. You can see Harris has a significant lead with about half of the vote in there. Len, yesterday we talked about Tarrant County.
Yes.
In the Dallas-Fort Worth area
we're at
suburbs.
68% reporting.
Yeah.
Okay, but you said Trump has to win Tarrant County.
Trump, that'll tell us how close the state will be. If Trump is winning Tarrant County by this margin, which is a little better than he did in 2020 or in 2016 against Hillary Clinton, that's a good sign for Trump in the state of Texas.
But the question in Texas is not whether Trump is going to win. The question is by what margin.
Yes, that's what we want to watch tonight. What happens in these counties will tell us how big or how small that margin might be.
Okay.
And Len, we have an amazing panel, as you know, with us today.
Let's go check them out.
Let's go talk to them and see what they think. So, Carol, what are you thinking with these new latest numbers? I know you said it's too early. It's too early. Is it still too early?
We want to point out, though, that we have, in the past, when you get this early in the evening and you see one thing and 2 hours later it totally flips. So we'll have to see. So with that in mind.
No, look, Texas is going to be close, I think.
You do?
I absolutely believe it. And I think it'll be even closer between Allred and Cruz, because Cruz traditionally runs about 400,000 or 500,000 votes behind the top of the ticket. So even if Trump ultimately wins Texas, he has to win it by a pretty big margin to carry Ted Cruz along with him.
And I just wonder what all of you think. The last time Beto worked out within 2.5% of Cruz. That wasn't a presidential election. This year's a presidential election. Maybe Kamala Harris helps Allred, maybe?
I think that one similarity between 2018 and 2024 is that it's about health care. Then it was about Obamacare, and now it's about reproductive freedoms and abortion. So this is definitely a through thread where you can certainly see Democrats activated by those issues.
We've been talking a lot about Tarrant County, sort of a bellwether here in the state of Texas. What are your thoughts on what we're seeing? Donald Trump building a healthier lead than he did back in 2020 when he lost Tarrant County.
Building a healthy lead, and of course, again, the state is red. I remember as an undergraduate at the University of Houston, Professor Dick Murray, whom we all remember, I had run for public office, and he says, Orlando, it's very expensive to move that 2%. And so, for the Democrats and Colin Allred, it is a monumental amount of money to move that 2%. And people forget the massive media market that Texas is. I mean, This isn't Montana where you buy an ad in Billings and it covers
And
the
you're
entire
it.
state.
Yeah.
This is, you know, I mean, you guys
Several
are in
cities.
the business.
Yeah.
Multiple expensive cities to run ads in. It just can't be done right now.
So I wonder, given both in the presidential race and the Senate race, what the referendum on abortion will look like, because that could make it tighter, because for the first time we are going to hear from voters on this issue when before it was the state legislature and the governor.
This is going to be one of those issues where definitely it's going to split people. It splits people with college educations versus those who don't. It splits men from women. This is going to be a motivator for young people too. So if you're Colin Allred, you're looking for those categories. You're looking for that win set. But that's hard to find because traditionally a lot of those groups have gone for the Republicans. In 2022, the exit polling had suburban voters voting for Greg Abbott by about 51%. So not a lot, but enough. That's really what the Democrats want to flip.
Dr. Adams, what does it tell you that Tarrant County appears to be turning red this year when, 4 years ago, President Biden managed to flip it, albeit narrowly? Is Trump a stronger candidate this time around?
I think he's a stronger candidate, but Tarrant County really doesn't tell us a whole lot when you look at it. But I want to get back to the gender question. I think African American women clearly will resonate with the reproductive right questions. The question is whether or not white women will support Kamala Harris. And I think the Senate race, what it pretends, we have to look at the future in terms of the margin of victory for Trump. If it's less than 4%, 2028, a lot of money could come in, and we may see some dynamics in terms of Texas becoming a purple state.
Okay, so I just want to point out that I've been here 18 years, and for all those 18 years, all I've heard is a blue wave is coming to Texas. Have not seen it yet.
Hasn't happened.
Has not happened.
You have to look at it. I think he won, by 9 percentage points
Yes.
in the last election?
Yes.
Trump. Yeah, Trump. And 4%, it seems it's going down, all right? And so that's where you would get, perhaps it will become like Georgia, for example, in terms of becoming a battleground.
Well, and Marcelino, you could speak to this. A lot of people thought, okay, with a growing Hispanic population, there's the blue wall. But many Hispanics have voted red.
Yeah, and Orlando, you could speak to this. You run a group of Latino conservatives. I mean, the Latino vote is not monolithic.
No, it's not. We've been polling actually 600 registered Latino voters across the state of Texas for the last 3 years. The economy plays a big role in that there. And people are, they're shocked, I guess, when Stark County came in last time. Stark County, but people forget, that's the oil and gas industry. Those hard-working people and families are driving Ford F-350s that run $80,000, but they're hauling pipe, they're welding, they're on the platforms. And when the Democratic Party says we're going to end fossil fuels, that scares the bejesus out of them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Before we send it back to Mia, can you give us a sense of what you think on the those battleground states? We have more votes coming in. Is it still too early?
Surely.
Well, look, the picture is starting to take shape. When we came into this, a lot of folks, experts were talking about you could see something like Harris wins North Carolina, loses Georgia. If she could win both, that would be an extraordinary night. That may play out that way. Pennsylvania looks like it's going to be a tight race. Depends on where the votes are coming in. Once we start to see a clear pattern around that, I think she'll do all right in Michigan, Wisconsin, and then we'll get to Sunbelt states. I think she probably wins Nevada more likely than Arizona, even though Democrats will probably win the Senate race in Arizona. And just to touch back on the abortion issue, if you go back and look in the states that have had the referendum, what you end up seeing is what would be characterized as Republican voters will vote for pro-choice, but then go back down the ticket and start voting Republican. We don't have that referendum, so you may move a couple of points to Allred or Harris, but Republicans start with about a built-in 700,000 vote margin in Texas. That's a lot of money to move 700,000 people. And that's probably what's going to be the difference tonight in Texas when it all ends. But I think Colin Allred is in this race for a while, and we'll see what happens as we go along.
Very unpredictable. Even former President Trump saying earlier tonight, "Look, I don't know how this is going to turn out." He has said He has election lawyers on standby.
Both sides do.
Both sides do. Thank you. In the event that they need to investigate, we saw this happen in 2020. We will see what happens. All right, Mia Gradney, back to you.